welcome. My name is Shubho Chatterjee, and I am a consulting editor at ET Edge. ET Edge is a Times Group initiative, and all of you are aware of Times Group. And I would like to welcome you in joining us at the seventh edition. So, this is the seventh edition of Money Gurukul Series 2024. So, prior to this, we have done six more in different cities of India. Now, this spans across 15 cities in India after successful editions in six other cities. We are here in Kolkata in your midst to continue imparting education. And you know what we are educating you on. So, this is called Money Gurukul. So, it's about money, wealth creation, investing, all of it. Hosted by ET Edge in association with Aditya Birla Capital, Money Gurukul is in its ninth year, so 9 long years. And the person who has hemmed it all is in our midst. And I was talking to him a while back. There's a strong sense of purpose that drives his engagement on this initiative as well. It aims at empowering investors to move in the right direction by bridging the gap between information, investment, and action. This multi city investor education initiative seeks to equip participants from all walks of life. And I see a wonderful gathering of all of you here, including working professionals, young adults, housewives, and retirees with the knowledge and tools to make informed financial decisions. And time and again in our conversation, we're going to talk about this making informed financial decisions. Now, these 15 sessions will feature industry experts discussing a wide range of topics, including basic investment principles, mutual funds, portfolio management, and risk management, to name a few. Now, here's something very interesting. In the interim budget 2024, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman stated Prime Minister Modi's vision for a Viksit Bharat by 2047, which represents the government's vision to transform India into a developed entity by its 100th year of independence, which is by 2047. Now, we believe, we here, all of us, people who are organizing this, people who are in the vanguard of pushing this conversation, we believe that to pave a path towards this vision, our first step should be to continuously educate the investors and move in the right direction. And Money Gurukul is a step in that direction. Money Gurukul will focus on continuous financial literacy, which will equip individuals with the knowledge to make informed financial decisions. Now, I repeat, informed financial decisions, plan for long-term goals, and manage market volatility effectively. Many of you are witnessing market volatility at the moment, so a lot of conversations are going to be centered around how you can work around market volatility as well. By mastering investment strategies and understanding the importance of a diversified portfolio, you can make smarter choices that will lead to financial success, which in turn will contribute to India's growth story. So, we're going to talk about the larger Indian growth story and how you can be contributors to that as well. Let's open this series with our focus on Invest Smart, balancing markets, financial goals, and long-term success. After all, Shikshit Niveshan, or investor, will set the roadmap for a Viksit Bharat. I would like to now invite Mr. K.S. Rao, the person who has this strong sense of purpose around this initiative, a dear friend of mine who has been relentlessly working for investor education for the last 11 years. And this is his brainchild. What you see as a conversation today is his brainchild. And the way he has actually promoted the cause of investor education is simply outstanding. Mr. Rao will make a presentation on Shikshit Investor for Viksit Bharat. And trust you, believe you me, this presentation will set you thinking about your own investment goals, about your way of approaching wealth creation. Mr. Rao, the stage is yours.
Shubho Sandhya. Thank you so much, Subhaji, for and with starting with Shubh Shankar, and everything is Shubh for us. And thanks to each one of you for making this evening, taking time. I can say next 90 minutes, you are investing your time. I can't say, in mutual funds, we can't assure returns, but I can assure you something. You have the best of the brains here. You go back home, something worth, something you feel happy, and whichever the age group you belong to, whichever the working group you belong to, but you go back home, something you have learned, and something you go back and take those, as Shubh Shankar said, investing, it's informed investment decisions. I mean, how you can invest your money. It's a like what you do with your money, what to do and what not to do, and then what kind of conversations we have at home about money. It's going to be very interesting. And this Money Gurukul is truly close to our heart because it's almost in 9 years. With thanks to ET for making this happen. It's 2015 which has started, and in another 1 year it will be a 10 years initiative, which is little over 100 plus programs. And during pandemic, we would have covered few lakhs of people part of this Gurukul initiative. And it's like, some of you would have seen originally the money and Gurukul. That money got, instead of O, you have a coin, it's and with a rupee symbol in it. And that's the way how it is designed. The design has come from a small girl. This girl it's from Karnataka. We were adapted few schools, few thousands of schools for a program called it's My First Finance Lessons. And when this symbol has come with this 1 rupee coin, when we were showing to this girl, we have asked, what is this? This girl in the class fourth or class fifth, she got up. We asked, the question is, how you define money? And this small kid got up and said, I can define money with this one. What is that one? We asked in her own language in Kannada. She said, if I find this 1 rupee on the street, if I'm going and spending, I'm a spender. If I'm going and saving, I'm a saver. If I'm going and investing, I'm an investor. That one can define me who I am. And that's where we thought in the Money Gurukul, why should not we think that, oh, we can put that coin and that's a new symbol of our rupees symbol, we can put it. That's one part. And second part of the Gurukul is in Indian context of education. Today, incidentally, Harvard Business School adapts it. It's like, fully in that case methodology. I am from IIM Kolkata, and it's similarly in the case studies, there's a methodology adapted from Gurukul system. And my great grandfather used to run a Gurukul. And this is a Gurukul is a school where you are not paying the fee, but you are doing everything and you are learning from that school by evolving. It's not by just reading, but they have three methodologies. You get up in the morning, and it's like, it's in the morning when you get up and you do you do like teacher will come, the teacher or the guru will come. It is being taught, the subject is taught. They call that first 1 hour is called adhyayan. And they go back home. They back to the rooms, not the home. They will serve in the same Gurukul, that ashram. And they can do what has been taught. They will recapitulate and they do it. They call it a swadhyayan. I learnt on my own. For example, if you go to Harvard School, you will be given a case study. You will be briefed about the case study, which is called adhyayan. It will be taught. Then you go back and reflect what is taught. It is a swadhyayan. But they go back and they come back and discuss what has happened in the morning, which is called swalochan. I apply my mind. I can, each case study when they evolve. I have one of the professors in Harvard, and he is 84 years old. And when we ask him, when 84 years he's still serving in the Harvard, and we ask him, sir, the same case study you would have done 100 times, what is that? Every time the students comes, I get a different meaning it, and they give a different definition to it, different way of it. Things are evolving, the swalochan. And why we thought in Gurukul is when you are investing in the markets, things which are maybe looking the same, but may not be the same. And every time market is volatile, And incidentally, in the last 3 weeks, if you are reading Economic Times, every week the narrative is changed. And then how in the world 2 weeks back something is very bullish can turn suddenly bearish and then suddenly bullish? What is that? I can understand. What is that? Then this is Adhyayan, then Swadhyayan, then Swalochan. That is where we thought it's a money Gurukul, and it is coming from the ET. And for me, this ET today is education for transformation. Education is not for just information. That's with an intention I can take it back. And it is like, then it's like we all put our money, but I think it's a nice quote from Benjamin Graham. I think it's what he said is, investing in knowledge can give you the best investment. Probably today in the next 90 minutes, what you are going to invest here, you go back with a refreshing. Probably this weekend, you can spend time with your family and make those conversations. Some of you came with family, I really compliment. Some of you have come alone, you can have these conversations at home. Probably we can take that, and it's a time for us to understand little more deeper and understand the basics better. And this program is broadly organized by Edge team of Times Group, EDGE. Edge is a group. And today we will talk about that EDGE in a different language. We have three experts. We talk about equity, we talk about gold, you talk about debt, and you talk about other last E. Either it could be an international equity or it could be a real estate. And with this, I can take the presentation further. And most of us, we are educated very nicely. We have got a good qualifications, but formal education will give us living, but financial education give a fortune. That's the difference we can make it out. With this, I quickly run through, and I promised that we have the best of the speakers. I want to run little faster. There is one common thing between Bengalis and South Indians. We all, like, in India, what happens, in the globally when you travel across, average the West guys will speak 80 to 90 words per minute. And Indians speak 120 words per minute. And Bengalis and South Indians will speak around 240 words per minute. And I'm a South Indian and I'm Indian coming from South India. I will make this presentation for 240 words per minute so that we get enough time for those three of the best brains here. And I look forward to. And I'm coming from Aditya Birla Sun Life. We have just completed our 30 years of Sun Life Mutual Fund, 30 years into this business of wealth creation. And in the Birla Group, we believe we are in the business, not exactly in the business. Our business is only to enrich the lives, so that business is an outcome which can, and here we are in the business of creating wealth, and we believe that trust is the most important part. And this is the only thing which I speak about my company, rest all education. And and the question today, why we are educating, what is the necessity? It is, I think, Warren Buffett quote is more appropriate. If I know nothing, it's fantastic. But if I know something and I believe I know everything, then there is a problem comes. Just while ago, we were in the chat when we are discussing, we are talking about influencers. How many of you watch these reels of the influencers? YouTube, mein? Many of you, I think, thank you. Some of you have, I mean, we got used to that. And sometimes, it's, you don't even know that how your brain got hacked with those reels. In fact, one of the chief ministers I know in this country, and his doctor is a friend of mine, and both of them are good friends to me. And this doctor said, this man is becoming slowly pagal with the reels watching, and he is indecisive now. That is the status for the evolved people. Means, I mean, we are forgetting the real life, and it's the real life we can taking over. And here we know nothing and we know something, but probably in the investment world, and we have three of the eminent personalities. And more you learn, more you feel that you need to learn more. And today, what is that we can look? And when Shubha said about Vikshit Bharat, and honestly, it is a vision articulated by Prime Minister, but it is a vision articulated for all of us. What is that it is going to change? 1947, we got an independence. We got it, and this is the country we belong to. This nation we belong to, and we need to be proud that we are Indians. And first 1100 years of this country is, if I can take today at 2040, 2024 and 2047 in another like 21 years away. But 1100 years, we are almost one third of the global economy. And from 1100 to 1700, we are one fourth of the global economy sometimes. And China and India together got almost half of the global economy. Post 1750s, and this is we are eastern part of the country. I mean, East India Company which has come in, and we have lost everything. before they left in 1947, we have become 1.46% of the GDP of the world, from 36% or 38% to 1.46. Means 1947, I think, survival was the most difficult part. In the last 70 years, we have moved from the stage from surviving today to thriving, then getting back to the natural leadership which we need. And vision of Prime Minister is vision of everyone. What will change to us is, I put it in in 1992, I was preparing for my UPSC. I was writing my mains examination. And in those days, there is a common question used to come in economics, write about Indian economy. That's a common essay we all used to prepare. And for that one answer, we always used to prepare first sentence of it. It looks like a copying from the next door guy. Everyone writes the same. We write India is a developing economy. If I am sitting next to Brijesh Bhai writes India is a developing economy. I write the same thing. And this year, incidentally, my son is taking his UPSC. And probably when that question comes, he writes the same answer. Probably what will not happen in 2047 when his child is writing, that child will write, India is a developed economy. What is transforming is, that is the dream which we are looking from developing to developed. That is the Vikshit Bharat for us. Vikasit, that is where. And Vikasit Bharat is not just a vision, not a dream. If you can go to, there is a microsite of Vikasit Bharat, and there is a 49 pages booklet, which gives a roadmap, direction, GPS, how that is going to evolve. It is a social equity, it's a markets, it's everything. It's about, it's revolving around 10 key deliverables, what each one of us have to do. Last week I was there in ISB with Honorable, Niti Ayog's chairman, Mr. Subramaniam Bivi, and he was narrating about the story how that Vikasit Bharat, it's like, dashboard is there, how they work day in and day out. It is whether it is an infrastructure development or whether it is going to be human capital. We are looking at a totally, it's not just wealth creation for me, myself. It is about the social equity and the equity. Means it's our responsibility to participate. And why we come from the mutual funds and we talk to you today. In 1964, these mutual funds have started first. In the year 1963, there is a Parliament Act. At that time, the finance minister was T.T. Krishnamachari. When he is presenting this bill about the mutual funds, he said, I am introducing this UTI Act 1963 to ensure the benefit of capital market coming to the common man. Today, we work with that, and that's the reason I said Viksit Bharat, through mutual funds, how you can get there. We will run around this. I think these are the various reforms we can look at. But in a nutshell, if I can look at in the 4 pillars where it is looking at, whether it is an economic growth, whether it is a social progress, or whether it is a, it's a sustainability or it's a good governance. There are 2 things you can go back. India is going to be in 2047, 7 to 8 times of current GDP. And Indians per capita, you and me, we are earning little more 7 or 8 times of it. If somebody is earning X amount, this 7 to 8 times. Means there is India is growing, my income is growing, but how I can capitalize that to invest it right so that I can grow along with India, I can prosper along with India. But caveat here is, most of us are going to live longer. There is always a question, when I live longer, it looks very happy. But if I'm not saving it right, this is a country where we do not have a social security. What is that I need to do for myself? Our own retirement planning, what is that we need to do? Again, we have an eminent panelist who are the planners who can talk to us. And to put that number here, I can just take that, 2040, what will happen from 2024 to 2047? One is the population, second is the, it's the average. Today, demographics is a demographic dividend we call about. Indians are attaining, our neighbors, if I can take China and India, one is the aging economy, second is a growing economy. And we are the nation which is not only, post-COVID, we are the one nation which we have shown, how resilient we are. It's all that what we are today, the discipline which we follow, and how the life expectancy can come, working. And the best part is the working age population, the population working for it. If we are not doing saving it right now, if we are getting into the habit of spending, then we end up, by the time you come 2047, nation is prospered, neighbor is prospered, but I have become poor. That's the whole intention today. How you can be in this journey of Vikshit Bharat, how you can make your investment right, the transformation journey of the country, that nation, how it can be a transformation for each one of us. And how we can unleash that opportunity. That's where we say, SEBI says, informed investor is an empowered investor. And we say is, Vikshit investor, Shikshit investor, the continuous learning. That continuous learning is part of that Gurukul. Adhyayan, Swadhyayan, Swalochan. Adhyayan alone will not do it, because learning something which I am confined to Kolkata, but world is one, and it's a one, then how you need to get. And then, Swadhyayan, something more how I can learn. And Swalochan is, I can't believe what people say. I am saying something today, we are discussing something. You need to go back and question how much is this right? Is it right for you? That's the whole intention of we taking it out. And it's like, the smart investor, which we spoke about while ago when Shubha is talking about. I mean, thanks to him for all the way coming from hills to here to address us. And this smart investor for me is not the smart, normal smart we define. SMART, you should have a smart goals we call specific, measurable, actionable, time oriented, how you can, you reachable goals. But this smart for me today is how you need to be a Shikshit investor. You need to be a continuous learning is the most important part of it. And you have to manage the volatility of the market, and you need to manage the volatility of your own mind, because markets are always volatile. The problem is our decision making will make us more losing the money. How I can make that? We can have these question answers. And what kind of assets I can invest? Whether I can invest in real estate, whether I can invest in gold, or whether I can invest in equity, or what else. But what kind of asset allocation? How do I do my asset allocation right? Each of these assets can perform in a different period of time. How I can allocate my assets, because we have one income and it has to be earned rightly and earn more and invested it rightly, and which can create a wealth. And last 3 years probably looking good for the market. And some of us who have invested in the last 3 years, we have seen only one side of the coin. We have got a good returns. But last 3 weeks, the market has shown how it can be volatile. Have you understood the risk? Risk-taking ability of yourself, risk versus return, how you looked at. And the last is time in the market or timing the market. How we can make that. And if you have to become a smart investor, what is that you need to do it. And in this world of money, being uneducated is not an option, and we need to be continuously evolved. And we need to understand the difference between savings and investments. We need to understand how we can make our money work for us. And we can ensure how salary of my every month, aaj ki kamai mera bhavish mein kaise kaam aayi, what is that we need to do. For that, you need to have a definite investment goal. All that your investments, you have a limited resources, you have a goal, and how you invest, these resources can work for your goal so that you can make. Here is a small video from SEBI. Can you put them?
एक बहुत बढ़िया प्लान। अभी 10,000 इन्वेस्ट करो, 6 महीने के बाद 20,000।
अच्छा,
जितना डालो उतना डबल।
डबल?
हाँ, मिस्टर कुमार है ना, उन्होंने भी इन्वेस्ट किया था।
अरे वो अपने कुमार सर है ना, उन्होंने भी इन्वेस्ट किया था। आज क्या नहीं है उनके पास?
गाड़ी है, बंगला है, नौकर चाकर सब है।
अपने कुमार भाई है ना,
उन्होंने भी इन्वेस्ट किया है इसमें। बंगला है, गाड़ी है।
जितना डाला उसका सीधा डबल। अरे वो अपना कुमार दा है ना,
लाइफ एकदम सेट है उनकी।
अपना कुमार साहब है ना,
नौकर चाकर सब कुछ है।
कुमार साहब नहीं है अपने। आज की डेट में उनके पास क्या नहीं है?
अरे मिस्टर कुमार कौन है?
मिस्टर कुमार
वो कुमार साहब,
ये
कहीं सुनी पर यकीन न करें। पैसे इन्वेस्ट करने से पहले खुद जांचिए, परखिए, फिर इन्वेस्ट कीजिए। सेबी, हर इन्वेस्टर की ताकत।
Any Kumar in this room? We are all in the hall of called monarch. And any Kumar? Or sometimes we become Kumars or Kumaris. But what is the message this video has given? Anybody can tell? What is that message we got it? कोई बता सकते हैं? Okay. Don't follow the rumors, right? But there is one hidden message is there. All the people who passed on the rumors are men. But the only woman got the wisdom to ask who is the Kumar. When you are investing, please do consult your spouse and take the decision collectively. That's the whole intention. Today we will talk about how this life goal planning can happen, how that life goals are very different, what we need to do, and how you need to be a smart investor. You go back home, what is that you need to become a smart investor, and how we can create that wealth creation by 2047. If India accomplished independence in 1947, can we all look at that? We all accomplish our financial independence by 2047 or much before 2047, and how the mutual funds can help you in you're accomplishing this. What is that we can do differently? And each of us, we have a different goals. And country's GDP is growing, but how you can make your GDP growing? I'm not talking about your gross domestic products. That GDP for me is your own goals, your own dreams, and your own plans. You have a laksh, I mean, what is that laksh? What is apna swapna? And then how you can accomplish that. And in these goals for yourself, this goal for your family, this goal for your belongings, it could be your retirement, it could be your spouse, children education, it could be your holiday, it could be your holistic well-being. We all build this castle. And this castle for me is an acronym. How you can build that castle is how you manage your cash flow, what kind of asset allocation you have, how the succession planning is working for you, and how the tax efficient your investments are. Paying tax is good for the country, but saving tax is good for you. How you can make that effectively work for you. And then the leverage, how much loan you can take, how much loan you should not take it. Which loan is good, which loan is not good for you. And then the last but not the least, have we got enough emergency funds? When markets are in downturn, emergency funds will protect your other wealth. I think during the COVID, the people who are luckiest are the people who got that emergency fund. They have not disturbed their portfolios. And with this, we can look at, it's that goals we need to ask, and that's where we need to move forward. And it's focus on the time rightly, and you can in the big like small savings, how it can make a difference. I think we have those conversations. See, we are all good savers, but how I can become good saver to the good investor, and what is that investing is different from the savings. Making my money work for me. I know I work for money, but make my money work for me. Can I get my second income through the income? Can I make my salary income as a supplement with a passive income with something more? And benefit of power of compounding working for us. How I can have that financial plan? What is that I need to have a financial coach? It is the difference is when you got a good advisor, how the life can change for any one of us. Other day I was there in Hyderabad. I think we are doing one program. It's one of the Panditji there, and he was coming up and talking to us after the session, and he said he was narrating a story from Mahabharata, and the story is then war is inevitable when Krishna Duryodhana and Arjuna goes to Krishna's house, and Krishna was sleeping, and Arjuna thought it is appropriate to sit not near the head, but at the feet of the Lord. He went to the Krishna's feet and he was sitting, and Duryodhana is on the other side. And Krishna got up and he had seen Arjuna first. And then he asked Arjuna, choose what you want. War is inevitable, whether, what you want. And Arjuna said, I want Narayan, not Narayan Sena, not that army of Narayan. And then Duryodhan was very happy that he has not chosen foolish guy who has not chosen the big Sena, big wealth, and he has chosen Krishna. And that's where the whole war ended. And this man said to me, who came, that Pandit, if I have a right financial coach, if I am not having lot of wealth, not coach, then I will not win the battle. But if I have a coach but no money, still I can win the battle. I think that's where you need to have a good financial advisor that can make a lot of difference. And when you are investing your money, simple logic, it's not the stock market makes you rich. All that what makes you rich is you save little more extra for the Vikshit Bharat. When nation is prospering, you put that money to work for you and invest little more and invest for wisely. And you should have a patience to undergo. Markets may be sometimes turmoil, how you can stay back there. We talk about in the mutual funds parallels SIP. I talk this in another SIP. Save more, invest better, have a patience. That can make you truly a rich. And it is not that where you are investing, it is how long you are investing is the most important part. That's where power of compounding will work. And the power of compounding will come only power of investing. If you are taking loan, and that's also power of compounding works for you. You have a choice to make 2 EMIs, either equated monthly installment or equity monthly investment. Which one you are doing it right? That can work for you. If I'm borrowing more money, then I am paying more power of compounding, more interest. If I'm investing more money, that can create a wealth for me. In fact, this is 31st January this year, 2024. I was there at South Central Railway. One of the railway officers got retiring and he is invited to attend his retirement function. And railways got a unique thing. On the last day of the working day, they will be presented with the total check what you have earned during the work time. This guy has worked for 33 years, and the general manager of South Central Railway came back and presented him a small check like this. He gave a check to him in front of every one of us. And this guy got up and said, I got for my 33 years of service 1.83 crores of rupees, with my provident fund, gratuity, everything put together. And he picked up one statement of account from his pocket, and this is showing 4.24 crores on that day. It's like, NSDL caste statement, he brought it, 4.24 crores. And he said, last 20 years, I'm just investing 20,000 a month, which has created this. And thanks to my financial advisor who was with me, and that made a difference. We work hard for the money, but you can save little more. How that can, it's one example. It need not be, when I start investing now, it may not be 4.24 crores. It may be more, it may be less, but it is a reality. It's a real time story. That's where when power of compounding will work, when you have a power of investing. And you have various choices to invest. You can invest in equity, you can invest in debt, you can invest in property, but you can invest all these things through the mutual funds. And mutual funds is a vehicle where you can invest. Have your life goals, and what is your life goal, you can understand. It's your life goal could be your retirements, your child education, your holiday, and convert that into your financial goal. And at the end, you get financial independence. Financial independence is the day you don't need to work for money, but money works for you. And mutual funds is the easiest and the most convenient tool which can work for it. I would like to ask one question. How many of you have invested in mutual funds? Okay, 50% of it. And how many of you have invested in SIP? Little more? People, sometimes we presume that mutual fund and SIP is two different things. And no, through SIP, route of SIP, we invest in mutual funds. Thank you so much for those who have raised the hand investing. Others, those who have not raised but invested, I'm not from income tax, don't worry about it. And and then you need to have this asset allocation, right? Why you need to have asset allocation is, it always looks one asset class is doing good, but one asset class may not be doing good. But if you have a right asset allocation, it safeguards you. It optimizes the return, but it optimizes the risk too. That's where, again, this is a story I can talk about, is from a city of Hyderabad. This is a place called Outer Ring Road, they call ORR. In December last year, there is 100 kilometers is the maximum speed one can run, and one can drive. That they have increased to 120 kilometers in January. From January to till September, last 9 months, the accident rates have gone up by 220%. Means just 20 kilometers extra. Means when markets are at high, if you are not having right asset allocation, like the way the little speed can make you to the larger accident. This asset allocation works like a speed breaker for you, which will protect you. You will not, even if there is an accident, you will not die, then you will be safeguarded. This is where, this asset allocation is similar to the airbags, and asset allocation work for you in such a way. And when you are asset allocation, you are investing in assets which can grow in value, assets which can give an income. You have a choice. You are putting, and understand risk before the return. And every investment got a risk, and there is no investment without risk. Risk is there everywhere, but you need to understand the risk and start investing. And driving in Kolkata is the most riskiest. Today I have a driver. I was looking at 2 or 3 places. I was just thinking, today is my last day. Which side he is going and whom he is hitting, I don't know. And he hits someone and he blames somebody else. And that's where, risk comes in. You need to be, risk is there everywhere. We all here in this room, this is electricity which we use. If I'm not using electricity rightly, there is a risk. But if I channelize that, there is a microphone, there is a LCD, there is a air condition. How we can do it? You need to understand that risk. And risk and return can be trade-off. And diversification is the best way to mitigate the risk. Mutual funds can work as a better place for diversifying that risk. And before you are investing, first, before you want to understand risk, understand goals, why you are investing, what goals you are investing, what is the duration of your goal, and why you are investing, what is the required return you look at, and understand your risk appetite. And each mutual fund scheme got a riskometer, and whether it suits to you, you can look at. And sometimes we look at equity is the most riskiest asset. But in the short run, it could be risky. In the long run, it is not risky. In the longer time you invest, it is lesser risky. Each asset class got a different. If I have a cash, I can put for 30 years in my locker, it's more riskier. And if I am having 30 years money, I can put in equity, I can make more money. Or 30 days, I can't put it in equity. You need to understand these two classes, how that can be, it can work for you. If I have, this is what Mr. Warren Buffett said, cash makes us feel great. I have more money in the locker, but it will depreciate over a period of time. And you have various schemes in the mutual funds to invest. Which one to choose is the one we will have these panel conversations. All that you need to invest is according to your goals. I come back to, when it comes to Bengal, when it comes to Kolkata, you can't think of other than the Bengali sweets. Bengal is so sweet, like the Bengali people too. And what is the difference between these three today? It is like, whether I have a rasgulla, rasmalai, or sandwich, what is called, it's a malai sandwich, or this is what, when I was here at IIM Kolkata, I was looking at, we used to go and taste everything. And when we asked this, common product for everything is chana. If I put, if I love chana with a milk, it can become a rasmalai. Chana with a sweet syrup, it will become a rasgulla. And chana with a, it's a, chana with a combination of a cream, then it will become its sand. Each of these, like asset class is like, I like something and I need something, then it's the various assets where I can put it. All that I need to understand which asset class I need to invest. If I am investing for short term, if I am investing for a medium term, if I am investing for the long term. Short term could be my less than 3 years, long term, medium term could be 3 to 5 years, or long term could be above 5 years or about 10 years, whichever the way you define. My kids' education will not come tomorrow, my retirement is coming little longer. These are, or you are building a house, it may be 3 years down the line, or you are going for an occasion 1 year down the line. How you are saving for each of these goals? It is coming back, I can say the example which I can take is, if there are different investment vehicles, like the different vehicles of transportation we use in Kolkata. I use a tram for the lesser kilometer, I use the bus for the little longer, I use a train for little more longer. If it is a short term, I can use the tram. It could be a next station where I can get down. And these are my short-term goals, like liquid funds in the mutual funds where we can use. In the medium term, if I am looking at, I'll take a bus if I have to go from here to the airport, or similar to buying my house as a first EMI, or buying for my car. These are the goals. And the mutual funds, I can use medium-term funds or hybrid mutual funds. In the long-term goal, I can take a train or flight. Likewise, in the mutual funds, you have an equity fund, small cap or mid cap. Understand your goals where you are investing, then you have a mutual fund too. In mutual funds, I had my first boss by name Mr. Kurian. He used to tell me, "Beta, mutual funds में दो लोगों के लिए कुछ scheme नहीं बचा है." I asked, we used to surprise. He used to give a pause and tell us, one, those who are yet to born, one is who is dead and gone. Rest of all, we can invest according to our timelines. And this is where, you have a scheme for every need in the mutual funds. I call mutual fund is your mutual friend to accomplish all your financial goals. And, then coming back before I conclude, all that you need to do is don't make complicated, make it simple. Investing is not very complicated one. We make it complicated. Make it as simple as possible and match with the goals. Have a good financial advisor. It is not the timing the market, time in the market. Regular investment is the most important part. In the last 10 years, 45% of the returns have lost if you are not invested for 29 days. The 29 best days you have missed, 45% of the return is gone. And those who stayed invested, who got that? Means, I do not know, none of us know, we are not predicting and market what it will do tomorrow morning. But in the long run, it will do well. And, then you need to stay invested. And it's like even astrologers can go wrong. You can see most of the predictions of the elections. And everyone will be predicting something, some results will come, something else. You need to continuously investing. That's the basic philosophy. In mutual funds, you have tools, SIP, STP, and SWP. SIP is every month you are investing. Today, mutual funds gets 25,000 crores a month, almost 10 crore folios. People are investing through the SIP route, systematic investment plan. STP is, I got some lump sum money, I have my bonus, I have something else has come in. I don't know how the market behaves. I will give an instruction to the mutual fund. I'll put it in the liquid fund and I'll transfer every month to the equity so that my risk is got mitigated, STP. Or when I need back my money for monthly income or something, I have a systematic withdrawal plan. End of it, it is for the long term. And it is like, Benjamin Graham who said, in the short run, market is like a voting mission. In the long run, it is a weighing mission. It's all that one need to invest in the long run. Short term, it could be volatile. In the short term, you are playing emotions. Short term, there could be a war. Short term, there could be economic disturbance. Short term, there could be a turbulence. Something can happen. But in the long term, it settled down. And when economy is growing, when we call it as a Vikshit Bharat, in the longer run, we are the fastest growing and we can look forward for the fastest growing. In fact, we have a separate sessions we do for this Vikshit Bharat, how it can work. All that what we need to do is predicting the rain does not count, but building the ark does. All my friends in Mumbai who come, they understand. Every day morning we go with an umbrella. We don't know whether rain comes or no, but when rain comes, there is an umbrella is available. Likewise, we need to keep investing and keep saving, and we can look for the next generation. And before we understand the markets, understand our own biases. Biases can be various things. It could be a present, what is happening currently, I take a decision. What is yesterday's, which will be in the mind where we'll take. Yesterday market could be down by 1100 points. Today market is up by 800 points. Our decision can change. When you are watching the reels, when you are watching the TV channels, you are taking watch it, but don't take the decision by watching it. And then your decisions will undergo change, then you will paying. That's where you need a coach for you. And sometimes it's a overconfidence. You would have made a lot of money in the last 3 years. You believe that you are the king or you are the queen. It's not. And you have many choices to invest. Sometimes we go by the herd mentality. Sometimes we go by the confirmation bias. Sometimes what is hard and hand. And sometimes I don't want to incur the loss, then I can get there. And each of these biases are playing for us. We can keep the biases out and start investing, and then things can be better. And we expect Vikshit Bharat, our markets, to go up one side up, but expectation sometimes is only one side. But markets are always like, it goes ups and downs. There could be a year zero return, there could be a year, there could be a negative return, there could be a year substantial return. You need to prepare for it. In mutual funds, we call net asset value. I can't look at everyday NAV of my schemes and invest my money. It's like, planting a tree and see the seed, how much it is growing. You have a child at home, you can't see every day the child, your daughter, how much she has grown, how many inches she has grown. But suddenly you see one birthday to other birthday, she has already grown up girl. I mean, that's where, I call this NAV in mutual funds is net asset value. I say there are three kinds of NAVs. One is when you are investing, there is a net asset value. And when you are withdrawing on your goal, that is the now available value. In between, that NAV is never available value for you. You just don't need to work. And all that you need to focus on what you can control, leave it what you cannot control. You and me cannot go and stop Ukraine war. You and me cannot go and stop, Israel playing on Gaza. It is not under our control, or we don't have a control who has to win, whether Biden or Trump. It is not under our control. What is under our control is how much salary I get, how much I can save, for which I am saving. Am I saving it right? Am I putting it right? Can I increase my savings? Can I increase my things? And this is where we need to develop a skill. That skill to get that more wealth. Skill is that Gurukul which can teach you learning. And sometimes in the short run, luck will work. In the long run, skill will work. Even the short term, that luck for me, LUCK, labor under correct knowledge. You need to invest it very uprightly. And we look at ROI of investments, return on investments, but investing in yourself is the best investment. And self-education is one of the investments where you can look at. And these are the various investments where you can look. And if you want to create a wealth by 2047 in your life, all that you need to is, this is a template which I can talk. Create your monthly budget. We are worried about what Nirmala ji presents on our budget, but we don't have our own monthly budgets. And have your good financial coach, understand what kind of goals you want, minimize the debt, maximize the savings, and focus on the long term. At the end, what you need to do is, your investment return should be more than your expenses. Then you are on the way to financial freedom. And this is where, your financial freedom is, you are converting your salary income into a passive income and a portfolio income. And this is where I can invite the panel to have those conversations. We thought this is something to make you ponder, think. You have been given these cue cards. All your questions you can write there. We will try to take as many questions as possible. And this is a part of Investor Education Initiative from Aditya Birla Sun Life Asset Management, and part of AMFI, part of SEBI. We do this education across. And SEBI got a wonderful website. If you want to know further, you want to learn something, you want your child to get educated more, there is a website at SEBI which is free education which is available. There is an app. Even you can take the examination, you can print the certificate. This is a SEBI investor certificate. And even AMFI got a very rich content on various education tools. You can come to our website on the investor education field. We have a rich content available, downloadable. Some books we have given to you. You can go back and have those conversations. In fact, one of the book which is given to you today is, you can go back and write where you are investing, why you are investing. And because that's some physical record is always good for us, because that can keep a track of things. And with this, I will stop, and I only request each one of you, some of you who came with family, I really compliment. Some of you have not come back. Make these financial goals, financial conversations as a dining table conversations. Have a financial dating with the family so that we all can invest together. And then, family together can invest, family together can prosper. And that's where I'll wait. Thank you so much for your time, and wishing you all the good luck. Thanks a ton. And over to you, Shubha. claps will not cost income tax. I think you can have more too. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rao. I think you did much better than 240 words per minute. All right. So, did it trigger a thought in you? Did it trigger some kind of an investigation in your mind to probe into what you're thinking about your investments? Thank you, Mr. Rao, for that wonderful presentation. You know, Mr. Rao, every time you make this presentation, I become wiser and I rethink my investment strategies all the time. Eye openers all the time. Thank you so much. All right, moving forward on our journey of educating investors, we will now move on to a panel, a stellar panel, that will closely deliberate on the theme of this series, which is Smart Invest, Balancing Markets, Financial Goals, and Long-Term Success, discussing key topics like smart investing, budget implication on investing, and balancing markets, personal finance strategies, retirement planning, estate planning, risk tolerance, to name a few. And for this session, like I said, we have a mercurial, a stellar panel with us. Let me introduce my first guest, Mr. Bharat Bagla. Mr. Bharat Bagla is a passionate long-distance runner, and it clearly shows. He's a long-distance runner who loves to help others achieve their financial goals as well as their health. He's a commerce graduate from NM College, Mumbai, and did his MBA from Manipal University. He's the founder of Bees Network Limited, which is a financial planning boutique with a physical footprint in Kolkata and Mumbai. Bees is today one of the leading firms in India with over 2 decades of experience in managing in excess of 7 billion Indian rupees. That's humongous. He has attended many courses and programs and workshops at multiple premier B schools of India like IIMs, ISB. He is often referred to as a thought leader in the industry. Bharat is an active member of many social and cultural clubs and various trade organizations like Calcutta Swimming Club, Roundtable India, the Freemasons, MCC Chamber of Commerce in India, AMFI, FIFA, Cricket Association of Bengal. Bharat, where do you get all the time? Just to name a few, he's also on various committees and posts in many of the organizations that I have just named. Delighted to have you with us, Bharat. Thank you so much. So Brijesh Dalmia is my next guest, and he has a phenomenal body of work as well. Let me invite him on the stage. Brijesh is a certified financial planner, LUTCF and LMF. You need to tell us what does LUTCF and LMF mean, but that's going to be during the course of our discussion. He has a rich experience of 30 years in the financial services industry, founder of Dalmia Wealth Private Limited, India's leading financial product distribution company, founder of Masterstroke, India's leading B2B digital platform for financial intermediaries, founder of Brijesh Dalmia Leadership Company, leadership and personal development coaching company, trustee of Swaranush Foundation, a non-government charitable organization, board member of FIFA, India's leading association of financial intermediaries. He has served as national training head for Roundtable India and also the chairman of Roundtable chapter number 34. Brijesh has authored 10 books till now on investments, business practices, and personal finance. Reaching over 1 lakh readers, he has conducted over 1,000 training programs benefiting 2 lakh participants. He's a voracious reader and loves playing chess. Brijesh, 10 books and more than 1,000 training programs. That's a phenomenal body of work. Delighted to have you with us. My third esteemed guest is somebody who started his professional career at HSBC in the year 1992. During his long and fruitful association with HSBC Eastern India, He has worked in various departments. The leadership roles that he has held during this period were NRI services, premier banking services, and private banking services. As a step forward in his career, he moved to ABN AMRO Bank East in the year 2003, heading one of the investment advisory business clusters dedicated towards advising HNI clients. In the year 2005, with an ambition to independently run an investment advisory business, he started on his own, which he now continues to run successfully. The scope and objective of his company is to provide qualitative and quantitative advice to his clients so that they can meet their life cycle goals. He's a regular columnist at Anand Bazar Patrika doing profile studies and has done some work with CNBC TV18 and Zee Bangla on personal finance. He was adjudged the Best Financial Advisor East and a Special Jury Award for Financial Education and Inclusion All India by CNBC TV18 for the years 17-18 and 18-19. Presently ranked 14th in India for the data released by Cafe Mutual as individual MFDs. Mr. Saibal Biswas. Welcome, Saibal. Thank you for being with us. And finally, the man who drives it all, Mr. K.S. Rao, Executive Vice President and Head of Investor Education and Distribution Development at Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC Limited. With over 3 decades of experience in the mutual fund industry under his leadership, ABS LMF, which is the Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC Limited, he has set excellent standards in the mutual fund industry and investor education, winning the Asia Asset Managers Best Fund House for Investor Education and the Best Fund House for Investor Education from Outlook Money several times in a row. And to name a few of Mr. Rao's projects, he has been an advocate of financial literacy. He has spearheaded impactful lives initiatives like Nivesh Mahakumbh and Investors Hangout. Empowering millions of investors across India, Mr. Rao is an alumnus of IIM Calcutta, so you have strong roots in Kolkata. A certified executive coach and holds multiple advanced degrees, including an MBA in finance and a postgraduate diploma in portfolio management and chartered wealth manager from AAFM. What a phenomenal body of work between all our panelists. Welcome once again, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this conversation. I'm Shubha Chatterjee, and I'm a consulting editor at EDEdge, and I will steer this conversation for the next 1 hour. Thank you. So, gentlemen, let me first begin by asking, why do we need to invest? And then I'll take my seat. Let me start with you. Why do we need to invest in the first place?
So my take on that would be investing is like saving.
Right.
Should I use the word saving rather than investing? And if we eat, we need to save. That's synonyms for life. That's how important it is.
Okay, so a quick word from all of you on why do we need to invest in the first place. This is rather a philosophical question that I have in my mind. Why do I need to invest in this world at all? There could be so many other things that I could do.
So what comes to my mind is, am I audible? Okay.
You are.
This is a spontaneous question, and the thing that comes to my mind is 2 reasons. One, we are all insecure in life. We feel insecurity ki kal kharcha aayega, and tomorrow we have to have expenses. And the second thing is that the risk of dying late. So what if you have a long life and with no income? To protect that life without any income, you have to invest.
Right, so that's scary that you have a long life, but there will come a point in time that you might not have a revenue stream or a fixed source of income, and you might not be able to sustain life. So that's the fear. Saibal.
Yeah, so the word invest to me has a different connotation. The word investment is not only to do with money.
Right.
Yeah. So the word invest means you need to enhance yourself. It could be just investing on yourself. I met somebody the other day, And he was telling me all my life I've been investing in myself. I've not even invested a penny on something else, because if I'm investing in myself, I am generating more wealth myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I could have invested that money somewhere else. Probably I could have got lesser returns by just investing in myself and doing a post-graduation course or an MBA, etc. I have enhanced, which means that when you invest in wherever you invest, your enhancement is happening either in life or in purpose or in income or your family structure or happiness. So invest is a word which you can't just loosely connect with only money.
That's a brilliant connotation that you move beyond money and take the idea of investment to a different level altogether. Saibal, thank you for that insight, and I wish all of us are able to imbibe and live that kind of a philosophy where you're investing continuously in lifelong learning, perhaps, and upgrading and updating yourself to the next level. Mr. Rao, what does it mean for you?
Probably, after listening to Saibal Bhai's conversation, no answers. And it's like each of us, it's a day starts, life starts with investing. We start investing in self, investing in studies, then investing our money and investing in our relations so that we can enrich ourselves as we move from, we have two things, right? All of us know our DOB, that is the date of birth, and none of us we know DOD, that's date of death. But in between B and D, there is a C letter. We have a choice. And choice of investing rightly or choice of not investing rightly. If I can use that choice appropriately, I can really enrich myself, because it's not only just money, as rightly put it. Investing in relations gives me that comfort. Investing in family, that gives me the belongingness. Investing in studies, it makes you more wiser. Probably the investing for each one is it's a word itself is having among us meaning that you are investing. And I think money is one parameter. And today when it comes to us and the investing, and more so in a country like India, which is looking at a promising, I am investing my better future. I am investing in the country which is prospering. And then I will take the clue from what Brijesh ji said. There is uncertainty is a certainty. I can't predict for what is going to happen tomorrow, but I can prepare what is going to happen tomorrow, so that I'm investing tomorrow's predict. Tomorrow I will not, I will not live longer than my money. My money should live longer than me.
Absolutely. Mr. Rao, I had my mentor once upon a time while working in Times of India, and he used to say this very often: you and me have a default destiny, and the default destiny is death. You can't wish it away, it's not going to go, but what you do in between your life and death, the time that you invest, the way that you live your life, makes what you are. Let me come to you, Bharat. Investments seem to be a fad now, right? Was it there earlier, or has it just become a fad because people are seeing things on television? There's such a lot of noise about it. Is there a fear of missing out if you don't invest? At the same time, are people informed enough to invest, equipped enough to invest, literate enough to invest?
That's a pretty long question in one. So my take, to keep it shorter, is people have been investing forever. But with times, the manners have changed. The mediums have changed. Maybe a couple of centuries back, people invested in gold, and they would wear their gold. So they were investing.
Right.
There were no monetary mechanism. Like, we didn't have money at one point in time. So they couldn't measure how much they are earning and how much are they saving or investing.
I think we have lost his voice, so can we get his voice back, please?
Yeah. So I think, yes, my answer would be that, yes, people have been investing or saving ever since. But over the years, the mediums have changed, the manners have changed, the information flow has changed. Like today we have news channels and we have social media. The way we take information has changed. Maybe a couple of generations back, the information used to travel differently. So yes, today we feel we are more informed. Today we feel we are more aware, and we feel that yes, everybody is doing it because we live in a community which is of similar type of people. So we feel that this is what it's all about. But yeah, I think everybody's investing. Yeah.
All right, so let me come to you, Brijesh. Are you seeing an avatar of an informed investor now with all the information that's going out? Are they assimilating that, and is it showing in the actions that they're taking, in the way they're investing?
Well, my take is that all the information which is available out there is only confusing investors. But one good thing has happened, that now they are aware that they have to invest. They have to take care of their future. There has to be some savings. So I give all the credit to all these media and information out there in the world on Google or the YouTubes, that everybody is saying that you must invest, must save. That part has been done very well by media. But I don't think that the right information is flowing into these media, because there are so many people having their own thoughts about investing. And it's like, for one disease, there can be 10 different kind of medicines, but which one do you take? For that, probably you need to have a sorted answer. And that is what is required, which is not, unfortunately, there in the marketplace.
All right. So, Sebal, he is suggesting that there is a pattern where people are getting information, but possibly not the right information. There's so much of cacophony around the information that's there. How can we create this avatar, like I said, this avatar of an informed investor who has the knowledge, takes the right decisions, and benefits from investments? How do we do that?
Just to get back a step behind and say that why investments and how, etc., the social fabric in India has changed. So I'll give you two short examples and then we can take it from there. I was traveling in Singapore. The guy who was driving the car was 70 years old. So I asked him, what's happening? I mean, he said, why can't your children look after you? He said, it's not possible because the cost of living has also gone up. So if they have to support me, they can't support themselves. Same if you go to the villages of Purulia, you will see that very old people picking up logs and going to the market and selling. So if you ask them what is the background, why are they doing that? Can their children? The story is same.
Right.
So the social fabric has changed. Now coming to your question on how do you invest? I mean, investors' goals, his aspirations will remain his. I and others can only be a facilitator to that. So I trust that the investors will have to start learning. Nobody can push the buck just like that to them. That's the kind of awareness that needs to be built up. We go on writing articles. Brijesh does so much of writing. I do some, and others do so much. But end of the day, it has to be the investor who has to pick up the right chords from there. I mean, you can't go home to home searching that whether it's getting influenced by influencers around the world. But end of the day, the investor, it is his goals, his money. He has to get that updation himself. He can hunt, he can search, he can educate himself, but I think the buck will lie with him.
So the buck stops with the investor, Mr. Rao. You can take the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. What are the common fears that investors have while investing? I lose all my money?
Most of the times when they invest, the biggest fear is I may lose my money. And fear is when you don't know something where you are investing, where it will go. But the another one is there are two kinds of, there is a greed and fear which can work for it. And today if you can see the latest report of SEBI, little over in the last 9 months in the F&O market, people have lost little around 60,000 crores. It is a substantial money. One side fear of losing, but you are guaranteed of losing your investing. 92% of the people who are in the trading have lost their money.
In F&O, in future and options.
In future and options. In fact, when we were in Chennai last time, there is a person whom we met. It is this is a student who lost little over 30 lakh rupees in F&O. And it's the parents' money. And it is not exactly people, the biggest fear is investing. It is not that I lose money. One, I don't know where I am investing. Second, I have a comfort of investing with myself. Like for example, go to the remote parts of the Bengal, I can see they are more comfortable with the post office, they're comfortable with the banks because they're next door. Nothing wrong in it, but that can only meet, not beat the inflation, it's meet the inflation. And how that can be converted and you can invest better, that's where the education is playing a very vital role. and people are taking some risk. And today's world, if you are not taking the risk, that is the biggest risk. Only thing you need to understand that risk of, and you are in the world of influencers, and you know what to listen and what not to listen. I think again, you know, as Mr. Brijesh Bhai said, you have so much of information. What is that I need to take is the most important part of it.
Right. I have a gentle request to all of you who are assembled here. If you could just put your phone on the silent mode, because I want everybody to just focus on this conversation. So that's a gentle request that I have for everybody out here.
Also, one request is you have a cue
Cue
card.
card, yeah. So you have a cue card which has been given to you. If you have a question, I'm sure questions have been triggered in your mind. If you have a question, please write them down on that cue card and hand it over to our ushers. They will come to us, and to the best of our ability, we are going to answer those questions. All right. So, Saibal, let me come to you for this quick conversation on the idea of Viksit Bharat, as he said. Now, Viksit Bharat also means fortune at the bottom of the pyramid. As of now, the penetration of this idea of investing, smart investing, informed investing, has been largely been it's been compartmentalized within, or it has been limited to a certain section of the population. How do you inform better? How do you educate better so that all those spheres and those who are at the bottom of the pyramid benefit from informed investing?
This is very important. If you're looking at Vikasit Bharat, then it has to be the bottom of the pyramid being activated.
Right.
So it's not the urban population which will take the benefit of investment. It's also the rural population will have to be penetrated with. I think the part that needs to be played here, SEBI plays a part, of course, and it does its best to penetrate to the level it can. But I think we individually as reciprocators have to deepen ourselves, go deeper. Probably there is the media penetration, there is the digital penetration. Mobile phones, the smartphones are reaching much deeper. So through that, the basic knowledge will start percolating downwards. But then we need to build up people in those locations who can actually service them, get down to them, and address the queries. Just listening to a video or understanding the basics might not be all in all. So I think there is a way to go, but I think there is progression towards that. The B30 cities are getting penetrated. Slowly it will go downwards. And I think that, India, I was speaking to somebody from Dell, and he was saying that India is a country of great aspirations. Even the taxi driver's son wants to become an engineer. He wants his son to become a doctor. So I think this will catch up sooner than we think it will.
Right.
Because these aspirations will make people think that where do I get the next buck? Where will I get my next financial freedom from? So I think people will learn, and there will be people who will supporting that learning. So I think we'll catch up soon.
Wonderful. That's very heartening to hear. Mr. Rao, you would like to add something?
I think adding to that, today things are changing much faster, honestly. And we have adapted too fast on I think digital revolution. Today you can look at UPI. Even in a small town, you go to Bhagalpur and some place. I mean, even if I can buy banana, I'm paying through the UPI. First part they are learning. Second part, I would like to say some data on the mutual funds today. We have catered 98% of the PIN codes in the country today have a mutual fund investments, which is phenomenal work in the last few years. And second, when people started investing, their whole life is becoming little better. I'll give you one classic example. During pandemic, we had a house help, and she was supporting us in a big way. And she comes from a small town in Karnataka, and she started. As usual, most of the cases we listen, husband is is not adding value to the family, but he's taking the value out from the family for the drinking or something. And this lady silently saving something for her children. And one fine day, she found she got around 8 lakh rupees or all her investments in the last 6-7 years with the various houses she was supporting it. And later, she was little worried if she gives this money to the husband, he may take away entire money. Instead, it is so happened that guy has so changed. She is so rich. Now he says, I will support you how we can make our children better. That's what he said. It's like today, there is one side of the world, AI, artificial intelligence. Other side of the world, we have AI, aspirational Indian.
So that is also the joy of investing, right? So the joy that you get out of seeing your returns multiplying many-fold. Uh, Let me come to you, Brajesh. How important are conversations on investing in a household? How important are open conversations on investing in a household?
Well, that's a good question. And historically, we have seen, the discussion of finance or, investing was kind of a taboo because the male members uh, kept it restricted to themselves, and the ladies of the family were not involved into this.
Right.
Uh, and this is changing now. And I think, people are realizing that if you have an open conversation about money into the family, you are a better saver, investor, and your budgets are aligned, and there is no difference of opinion when it comes to spending or living a life together. I think, for example, when we look at our clients, families who are discussing the subject of investing together have more discipline, and there is less conflict when it comes to spending or other things. For example, I will give you one client's experience that the wife was interested in buying a house, and the husband was saying that can we afford it, and this discussion was happening for the last 5 years at home. And then they came to me and they asked me to look upon their portfolio. And I said, well, you cannot afford it now. And after 2 years, they again asked this question to me. And then I said, now you can afford it and you can buy it. The moment I said this, both of them said that now since we can buy it, we will defer it because now the objective of sense of belonging is there that now we can buy it, so there's no need for going it now, and you can defer this decision and let the financial portfolio go up. So, all this while the wife was not aligned till the discussion was not happening because she wanted a house and the husband was always under pressure. When the discussion happened together, the conclusions were much better.
Absolutely. So, how many of you have open conversations at home about your financial, your financial arrangements or your investments? Very few. Very few. Is there merit in having a discussion in the household about your investments? Do you think there is merit in having discussions around it? So the gentleman there feels, rest of you don't feel like that. Why is this restricted idea of not discussing finances openly? How can it change? And what will it do? What will it do if we change it?
No, most of the times there is an apprehension. It's a family. Always, it's become in Indian context. Father is the one who is earning in those
It's very
days.
patriarchal that way, right?
Yeah,
The
it's
man of the house takes the
yeah,
decision.
and second is another way is my husband is taking care. Why should I involve? Is the second part. Even spouse is working, she will not be actively
Right.
because husband is taking care. And parents will not disclose to the children because if they know everything, if you have more money, they will become complacent. If you have less money, they will become self-insufficient. Either way, this conversation. But the best way is to have the conversation. You don't need to disclose everything, but have those conversations very appropriately so that you can have a common financial goal. I mean, we call this we used to do these workshops called financial dating. And why you need to have this financial dating is you all on a common philosophy. I mean, this I used to tell like this, when my son was younger, and most of the South Indian women, they are fond of gold. And I mean, my wife is one of those South Indians, and then I have to discuss with her so that if I have to put for my son's education, I need to put a lot of money in SIP, and when I want to sending him to abroad, and I need to put the money partly into the international equity funds. And this conversation, when I mean, if I since I have a conversation, she stopped buying less of gold and more of investing. Otherwise, most of the money would have gone to Malabar Gold rather than the mutual fund SIP.
Bharat, I have a very interesting question for you. How many of you think that you have missed the bus of investing? That you have missed it? You should have done earlier. I haven't done it. Why do people have this feeling that I've missed the bus and I'll never be able to ride on to a new one? What can they do?
Start immediately. Start immediately.
Jab jago tab savera.
Better now than later. So yes, getting to realize that you missed the bus is one sign to say that you become evolved. A lot of people don't even know that they missed the bus. So if there's somebody who feels that he's late in starting his investing journey, congratulations, at least you realized. So welcome and start that process ASAP.
Also, there's this feeling that I've reached the fag end of my life. I'm 60 plus, 65, 70. What's the need for me to invest at all?
So the purpose for investing is multiple, and one of them is retirement. And like Rao Saab was saying in his presentation, the average life expectancy is increasing, and medical science is evolving. So if we can afford better treatment, medical science will make sure you don't die. Now the question is, do you want to afford long life, or do you want to die without treatment? So the easy part is to have that money so that you can afford better treatment and be able to live a longer life. And like he said, we know the DOB, but we don't know the DOD. So who knows, today we might be somebody who's going to live for more than 100 years.
Absolutely.
And while Shaibal said that he met a taxi driver who was driving taxi even after the age of 70, right? Because the cost of living has gone up and he needs to bridge the expenses so that even though he has children, and even if the children wants to take care of the parent themselves still have to work to make the ends meet. So just like that, long life is a very important aspect. And then, of course, there are the aspirations, and you want to see the world, you don't want to see the world, you want a better lifestyle. So investing is a very, very crucial thing to do.
Yeah. Mr. Rao, yes, Sehwal, you wanted to add something.
I just want to add one point. You used to tell the story of 30-30, you work for 30, then live for 30. What might happen that you work for 20 and live for 50?
What happens
which
then?
which is the dangerous part of it.
Absolutely.
Because your earning capabilities will reduce because there is such a big workforce waiting behind you to take your place that you might work shorter duration and live longer. So if you, and starting late, as Bharat has said, starting late, no, one that you realize that you have already missed the bus or you're missing the bus, but you've got the knack that, yeah, I need to start something. But time is the major factor in this investment process. Please remember, if you calculate all the other parameters that are involved in that investment process, probably time is the most important, but that leads you to compounding. So as we grow older and we move forward to 2025 and forward, you might get lesser period for work and generation of income and greater period to relax and live. But you can only relax if you have the money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So focus on that. And I say that if your target date, and financial freedom is to create a separate income which can replace your present income. Then only you can say that I'm financially free. Otherwise, what financial freedom are we talking about? What retirement are we talking about? Retirement is just a word which comes at an age.
So I'll take.
And many are not retiring also. They're
I'll take a
working
cue
forever.
from Saibal.
Because you can't.
Yes.
Because if you retire, you don't have that enough money to retire.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So we have a scheme called the NPS. That's the National Pension Scheme for the non-government employed people. And now the government has opened that scheme for kids called the NPS Vatsalya.
Right.
So a lot of clients called me and asked me, ki, why should we be doing that? Why is the government opening up the NPS pension scheme for kids? I mean, here I am not even able to fulfill my retirement requirements, and you want me to start planning for my kids' retirement. You know, that's where the government is talking about that don't leave anything for chance. So one of my clients asked me, okay, what can we get out of the NPS? Okay, I just had a child, and what do we do? I said, even if you put 1 lakh rupees today and don't put anything for the rest of his life, he'll retire a crorepati.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's as simple as that, you know. And like Saibal said, the timing and compounding is very important. So, yeah, start early.
Mr. Rao, you wanted to add something.
No, I think, NPS Vatsalya, which is started in the last budget, it's like, it's not exactly how I can make my child to retire, but it is also giving the seeds I can make the child to think from the day, this is your retirement fund. Even I can start little, that can go big. And the power of compounding, as
Also
Saival-
the habit, right?
it becomes a habit. You make that. I am passing on to the child, and after he or she attains 18 years, they will continue. That can grow much bigger. That's a long term. And when Bharat Bhai was talking about long term living, there is a fantastic book written by one of the professors from London School of Economics, the Professor Linda Granton. She has written, the child who is born now, there is a possibility she may have to work for 100 years work life, not 100 years life. This is the time we need to plan for that. That is the reason why you need to invest, whether you are at a 60, whether you are at a 70. It is a better to take that choice to invest. When I am at 70, if I am living for another 5 years, and later my next generation. In India, we believe always generation after generation. And some of the wealth we have got. And there is a biggest wealth transfer will happen this period of generation for us. And you need to look, that is the way. Otherwise, you need to give it to someone that wealth can grow rather than lying. I call this as a 4G principles to make money. In the money works on the 4G principle, not your phone 4Gs. Each of us need to, during our, earlier days, the first G is you get money, you get your salary income. All that what you need to do is build your skills so that you get more salary, or build your business skills so that you can build the business, or build your agriculture. Use that G part you can have. And second part, second G is, G alone is getting money is not sufficient. We need to grow the money, because power of compounding plays a vital role, and how you can take that informed investment decision that can grow. Third part is, losing money is much more easier. I need to protect my money. It's Warren Buffett says, there are only दो नियम होता है पैसे बनाने के लिए. Niyam 1 is never lose the money. Niyam 2 is never forget the Niyam 1. That's a way you need to look at. पैसे बनाना काफी आसान है. पैसे बने रहना काफी मुश्किल है. Then you need to guard your money. And the last but not the least, you need to give your money. Either to my children or to the church or to the society. I need to give back, because the DOD someday will come. I can't take back anything. And when I work there, I think investing is the best way. Investing can make the money to grow. In fact, during pandemic, I was finding out, we all talk about SIPs, investing for the goal. I was just looking at my SIP will go into 3 different verticals. That SIP, that's the first one is every month, every year I pay a little over 3 lakh rupees as my life insurance, health insurance, my vehicle insurance. Then I make it a point, 25,000 rupees will go to the liquid fund every month to take care of the savings part. This is my saving, so that I don't need to feel a pinch. Then I have my investment goals. My retirement goal, my child education goal, and blah, blah, blah. And the P is, I'm here today, pandemic has taught, you just not living for yourself, you need to live for someone else too. Then my philanthropic goal. If I want to give my money to the charity, always I may not have a surplus. Then I have one portion of my money which go for the philanthropy, is another SIP to give.
Right. So, can you then give me a financial plan that will help me grow my money without touching what I have as a contingency? How do I create a roadmap for myself where my money grows and I don't have to worry about an emergency in my life? Brijesh?
Best of the financial planners.
So let me go back a little when you asked that question in terms of, have I missed the bus? I think, when you are investing, you are not competing with anyone else. You're not trying to say that.
Certainly not with your neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not about my friend has so much, my brother has so much, or my relative has so much. It's about your own life. So investing is not relative to other people's investing and money. It is about your own goal, what you want to do with your life, and how much you want to save, how much you want to need. So even if you are a late starter, it doesn't mean that it's end of story. Maybe you can save a little more. So one example, many years ago, I approached a client to start SIP in a mutual fund, and I said, these are the kind of returns that have come in the past and many people have invested. He understood the concept so fast that, Brijesh, I have not invested till now, but tell me how much I have to invest now to make up for the last 5 years. So he said that I will, for example, if you have to invest 10,000 rupees of SIP today, and somebody started 5 years earlier, he said, what is the value of that 10,000 rupees started 5 years earlier today, so 10 lakhs. He said, I will invest that 10 lakh rupees so that now I have understood the concept of saving and investment. I want to be like that person who started 5 years back. So, it's never late. So you can invest a little more, you can save a little more. So that is the first part. Coming to your question about financial security per se and the corpus creation, I think discipline is the most important thing. If you're saving for your retirement, if you're thinking about a long life and that money being used in the future, you cannot touch that money. There will be so many goals, there's so many things that will come up in life, and you want to take that money out and you want to spend that money for gratification, sooner gratification. I think compounding starts after 10 years. Let me tell you, all of you. If you start investing today, nothing is going to change your life for 10 years. If you think that you started today and some money will be made in 2, 3, 5, 7, 8 years, no.
So I have to hold it for 10 years.
Minimum. My word to my investors is that, if you start today, the results will come after 15 years. So if you have to wait for 15 years for real compounding, जो आप TV में influencers की बातें सुनते हैं, compounding, in real life, money compounds after 15 years. Before 15 years, 50% of your money is yours, the value of the money, more or less. I'm giving you a number. So if you want your money to be, the earned money from investment to be more than 50%, you have to wait for 12 to 15 years. There's no magic, if you're investing every month. So you have to think really long term and give it that wait period, discipline period, that this is my SIP, I will touch after 20 years. This is my goal for my education or marriage, and I will wait for too long and keep on investing. So I think, discipline is the key factor. If you have a goal, stick to it and don't withdraw before that.
So I heard this many times before. It takes 30 years of hard work to become an overnight success. That would apply to investing as well.
Yes.
It would, you need to invest for 15 years at least to become an overnight, to become affluent overnight and have the kind of corpus that you wish to. Let me come to you, Bharat, on this very important question. How important is goal setting? When I want to retire, I will have 5 crore rupees with me. Should one have a vision of that and then go backwards and plan as to how much I invest, or just leave investing to as it is, which essentially means that this is the money that I have, this is what I'll invest, and I leave it to the market to decide how much corpus I will have. So what should be the roadmap? Should I set a goal, or should I just keep investing and not look at the goal?
So this is like the chicken or the egg.
All right.
If you ask me, in an ideal scenario, then yes, do a need analysis, get to that number, that what is that number which will take care of your longevity and all your social aspirations, and then work backwards. But let's say, hypothetically, if I had Mr. X and he should ideally retire with 10 crore rupees, he's got 10 years left to retirement and he's making 1 lakh rupees a month. There's no mathematical formula through which he can ever achieve that.
Right.
Then this whole master plan goes for a toss. Then the choice remains is, then do whatever you can. Then start maximizing whatever you can. So while having a number is a great idea, provided you have the time and the bandwidth to work around it, but it will depend upon who's starting the journey when. Maybe you have the time in your hand and you can build around it. Maybe you, like you said, somebody is getting that feeling of FOMO and starting late and he does not have that much time and still has limited income. So we have to marry both the choices together, what your abilities are and where you should go. But yes, having a goal is very, very aspirational. It sets a context to what you're doing, because end of the day, in every particular family, earning is not everybody's job. There would be somebody looking after the house, somebody looking after the children or whatever. But a major part of the earning depends upon one person. And since he is earning, the choice and the prerogative to save that and invest that and look after it is also his. Right. And the poor guy never gets a pat on his back. Because if he goes back and tells his wife, she has a list of demands. So he can't tell his wife, ki mere paas itna paisa hai, or I've saved so much money.
Is that reality speaking?
So he needs to subconsciously know that he's doing well. So having a roadmap, okay, 5 crores or 1 crores of 10 lakhs or 50 lakhs, depending whatever individual profile is. And then as you get closer to that, it gives you a self-satisfaction that, okay, now this is where I've reached. Yeah.
Mr. Rao, let me come to you. You have been talking about SIPs. Bull market, bear market, rain, shine. how do SIPs stand their ground over a long period of time in terms of long-term investing? Why are SIPs now such a buzzword, and why is it important in our lives now?
No, probably, SIP looks very simple, but it is having understood SIP's value of the SIP today. I mean, the concept we may be talking for longer, we call it the rupee cost averaging. Globally, we call it the dollar cost averaging. But we have seen market turbulence, and point to point, a market, say, today Sensex is at 80,000. After 1 year, again it's 80,000, if I can, hopefully. But over a period, the units which are allotted to me at the lesser price and more price, over a period, I'm making more units or more money. Either way, which is working for me. Second, none of us can time the market. I can, I stay invested good times or bad times. And one, you said about the goal. Once I have a goal I need to reach. We have come here to Newtown. Put the GPS set to Fairfield Marriott, and that's the goal for me. I have reached here. And the GPS would have routed me some route. So for some of us, 5 minutes delay, but we have reached here. Then when you have this SIP, sometimes instead of 1 year, I may do for 10 years. I will extend my SIP for a little longer. I can give little more step up my SIP to reach there. I think, as Brijesh Bhai was talking about, there is a goal. I missed it. I want to add it. Then I use my step up SIP. If markets are down, I'll put more that. End of it, I have a laksh. Then this is an opportunity. If GPS is showing rerouted, once I reroute, I put little more money extra. That's why SIP is working in a simple way. In fact, a friend of mine in Lucknow, when I went to him, he's one of the great MFDs there. He said to me something. Why you need to have a goal means, जिसके पास लक्ष्य होता है, उनके पास लक्ष्मी होती है.
Brilliant. All right, so let me come to this very often discussed topic, which is you must have a diversified portfolio. Rajesh, what would a diversified portfolio mean and look like, and why is it important?
Well,
can we have your mobiles on silent mode, please? A genuine request, please. Thank you so much.
You see, there is a concept in study that, till graduation, you can choose many subjects, maybe 3 and 4. That's diversification. So that by the time you want to do your master's, you know where and which subject you like, and so you choose that particular subject. In the same manner, when you start investing, you have to diversify your portfolio to understand the risk and return provided by various asset classes. So just investing in SIP, for example, is one single product. It will not help you. You also need to have a couple of more products, I would say. For example, the real diversification, if you talk about, if you have a health insurance policy, if you have a life insurance policy, maybe a term insurance, and you have SIP in mutual fund, I think you have 80% of diversified assets already.
So you're saying health, life, SIP.
Yeah. If you are doing these 3 things in life, added by NPS and PPF, if you can, probably you are good into investing 90% of the world's population. If you do these 4 or 5 things, I repeat, you have a good health insurance policy. You don't save money on your health insurance. You don't save money on your life insurance. My suggestion is that before you start your SIP, you should have a health insurance policy. You should have a life insurance policy.
And in life insurance, you're suggesting a term insurance
policy. Insurance policy, of course. And then it is upon you, what you want to do with that. So term insurance policy, health insurance policy, then you start your SIP. And if you have some money left and more money left, you can consider a public provident fund or a national pension system. If you have these 5 products in your portfolio, it's a very high diversification, and you are doing better than 90-95% of the world population. So diversification is important. And of course, gold is also another important asset class, which all the family have in terms of jewelry and other things. But if you want to add, then there is no endless list. So 4 to 5 asset class, because in no 1 year, all asset class will give you good returns. For example, debt or equity or property prices or gold, all will run differently. So you should have all these asset classes in the risk appetite zone, or the money that you have diversified. It's very, 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 very important. Don't over diversify is the mantra here.
All right. Seba, let me come to you. Succession planning. How important is succession planning as a conversation, and how do you plan it?
It's extremely important. You build up your wealth, and you want to you have to plan before you go how to move
Sorry.
that forward. So succession planning is an important part of that investment planning. It's the last leg of the investment planning system. So there are, so for example, a lot of people say that I have nominated so and so, and that's my succession planning. Nomination is only a custodian of the money. He's not even getting the ownership. So we are very fuzzy about how the succession moves.
So let me clarify. Having a nominee doesn't essentially mean that the person is the owner of that money.
Absolutely not.
Right.
So he's just a custodian of the money. Anybody claim comes, it will get then go for litigation, stuff like that. So he's not the owner of the money. He's just a custodian of the money. What I'm trying to say here is that we have to be extremely clear what we want to do with that money that we have accumulated all our life. Whether we form it into a trust, we create a will, we distribute it, what we want to do, we have to be very specific. I'll give you one example to clarify my point. Somebody did a will in favor of his wife, and wife did a will in favor of the husband. The husband expired, all the money went to the wife. There was a son, grown-up son, who was married. He didn't get a penny. The wife fell off with the wife of the son, and the son got nothing. This may have not been the intention of the original owner of the money. So it is very important that you know in what direction the money will ultimately flow. And there are 3-4 mechanisms how that succession planning will happen. And I think you should keep a note of that and try to fix it before it is too late.
And there's also this very often researched and very often spoken thing that a lot of unclaimed money is lying in life insurance, in
So you go back
a lot
to
of asset
UTI
classes.
or LIC, nobody has found that money also. So one, that record keeping is also very poor.
So you'd like to make a note of this, that keeping a record, and also having this dashboard for your family, right?
Absolutely.
Your family knows where your assets are, where your wealth is, where you have invested, because many times after the demise of the person who has really invested and worked hard all his life or her life, the family doesn't even know where the money is.
No, and I think all of us have faced this situation where somebody who you don't know, if it's your client, then you will know everything. But it's not a client who has come to you and says that I don't know. Today I was meeting a lady teacher, and husband has expired. She's clueless of what. Husband has asked her many times to sit with him and discuss that investment thing. But she said, no, you're looking after it. I don't need to get into this. What has landed up ultimately is she now knows nothing.
So the money is lost.
Money is lost, or you have to hunt for it. You have to look at corners, almirahs, under the bed. That's not the way it should be. It's your money. You have built it up. You should be clear whom it should go to and how it should be maintained. Period.
Absolutely.
I think keeping a physical record is the most important, which I fully
And
agree
the
with
family
sir.
should know.
Family should know what family should know. In fact, we used to have this booklet. I don't know whether we have given this time. We have created during the pandemic because most of the people used to have a soft copy of it. I had a colleague of mine, and during pandemic, she has lost her father. It is on 14th of April, and mother on 16th of April. She is just 24 years old girl in our team, and her uncle was there, and even she lost uncle in another fortnight time. And all of them were working with the IT and IT professionals, and most of it is there in the mobile. We couldn't even retrieve what is available. And only it took 1 year for us to get those cars and rebuilding the statements and getting those stuff. It has become such a painful stuff. Then we thought, it's people should have a physical record and keep that reviewing, recording. Even you need to write, what you own and whom to contact in case I am not there tomorrow.
So
It's
your
a two
agent
uncertain.
or somebody who has done
Yeah,
the
you are
insurance.
like, there could be a mutual fund distributor, there could be a life insurance advisor, there could be even doctor. I need to go for certain things on my insurance claims where I need to put those things so that my family get to know what I have, because legitimately that can be passed on to the respective people. It's a simple act of doing it, but it can make a lot of difference. This is where, my request with every one of us, I don't know, my humble request is just look at where you have invested, what nominations you have. For example, after 30 years, I found for me in my nomination is my father who is no more. And but when I got married almost 30 years back, I have not changed the nomination. Thank God, nothing has happened to me. But it's like, situation is, we need to go and review that this weekend. Take little pause, and December is a month where we look forward for the new year to come. Before we set the new goals, we can clean up our old one, and where we have what we have invested, that gives you something else also, because some money is lying idle somewhere, you don't even looked at that account, that can make use for the productive asset. And you can have those conversations, right? And you feel, sometimes we feel we are not rich enough, and that will reveal you are much richer than what you are too. And sometimes it will also reveal you have more loans. This is a time I need to repay certain loans which are high cost debt. I can look at, and take some time this weekend, spend some time with the family, have these conversations, and take a stock. Maybe 2025 you can start a fresh note on your financial goals, your investment. And today we are in a very, very different world. I mean, in earlier days, life is very structured. Today, quick commerce, and in India earlier, when we celebrate Holi with the colors, Diwali with the crackers. Today, those two, we neither Holi we are allowed with the colors, nor Diwali with the crackers. But today there is a e-commerce will celebrate every day India's festival, and we buy things we don't need, and the time is there to sell the things we need, and we need to plan for it. If you plan for it, then you know what to buy, what not to buy, what to postpone, what not to postpone. I think before investing, this is the first thing, to look at what I have, then I can look forward what I need, then I can plan for it.
And there was this research done, and this is a very important research that came across, is that almost 80% of the clothes that you have in your wardrobe have never been used by you, or have been used once. So, like if you remember, Mr. Rao, there was this fad of buying vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
Very often bought, very little used. So I think one should get into that financial discipline also. Last two questions before we get into the questions that have come to me. What is Gen Z thinking about investing? Is it any different? And how can you leverage technology for investing? So who would like to answer this? Yeah, so I think he's the most suave with technology. What is Gen Z thinking, and how can technology help us?
So Gen Z is a very difficult generation to deal with.
They know everything, by the way.
And they think that they know everything, and we don't know what they know. Yeah. So, but definitely the average intellect and the understanding levels of the Generation Z today is much better than what we were at their age. So if I see my children, or if I see any younger person who's in his 20s or something, and his average understanding of life and subjects, etc., and for what I was at that age, he is far ahead of me.
So every generation gets progressively
Yeah.
intelligent.
So I think I would say that they are much ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And technology-wise, how can technology help us in leveraging knowledge and habits about creating a good financial discipline?
So technology is an enabler.
Right.
With WhatsApp and with all the new age solutions that we have, the average attention span has shrunk significantly. We want very, very speedy gratifications, instant gratification. You want something, quick commerce, Zepto, Blinkit, etc. 10 minutes, it's done. We had Amazon, which was give you like in 1 day, 2 day. Now quick commerce is giving it like in 10 minutes.
Right.
Nobody has the patience and the time. So technology bridges that gap to deliver that information. Somebody wants it in a video format, it reaches them in video format. Somebody wants it in a text format, it reaches them in a notification format. And they want to do it when they want to. So it doesn't confine to business hours, 9 to 6, 9 to 5, or weekdays, etc. They are probably sleeping late, getting up late, and they want to do the transaction at maybe 12 in the night. So technology takes care of that. It's round the clock. They want to check on what information they have, what the portfolio and stuff. Again, that's available for them at beck and call, so they can either look at the website.
Almost everything is on an app right
Completely,
now.
complete. So app or website or whatever. So the basic understanding is that technology is giving them the power to take control of their life.
Right.
And also the geographies have shrunk.
Yeah.
You want to talk to a client in the US, it's so easy to talk and transact.
Right.
So I have maybe just done a Google Meet with a client, and that's how the transaction has happened for the last 2, 3 years. He's not come back to India. But I'm saying your markets are expanding, and technology will help you to expand that market.
So possibilities for the investor to invest in different asset classes, and what he's talking about, the speed of investing, that is also a possibility now. I mean, that's a huge possibility because you have everything at your fingertips.
That's a reality now.
That's a reality now.
So it helps you to process your transaction faster. It's helping you to reach people faster. It is interactions are becoming more frequent. So I mean, every way that investment platform is created to take the next level.
Mr. Rao, yeah,
Yeah,
please.
I
go
would
ahead.
like to, there is advantage of this is fantastic. The disadvantage, I think, when Bharatji was talking about delayed gratification or instant gratification, since the tool is available to me, even the disinvestment is becoming much faster, which is more
So I'll
dangerous.
sell earlier.
I want to
than-
sell early. There is one news item which is flashing in the midnight to you. There could be, there is a flash news item will come. Mr. Putin is going to, this night is going to bombast Ukraine or vice versa. Then you feel tomorrow market is going to come down. I redeem it. Then you are taking an instant decision which is for the long-term orientation. That's where I call, this is a understanding the financial literacy. You need to take a dip of it.
So bite your cheek.
Yeah.
If you and just ask whether I should do it or not.
Yeah, I call this as a take a dip of it. What is that dip is? Delayed gratification, impact of inflation, and power of compounding. If this has to work, you need to be paused, take a risk, take some time. That's where I say, when the world of robo-advisors, I call always, you do research online, but do the business offline, because the offline person can be more comfortable to me. He or she will come and tell me second opinion. Even for the shopping, when there is this is one of my colleagues was always telling, sir, ये Amazon आपके मोबाइल में Flipkart का download नहीं किया, just download करो, Flipkart में 100%, 50% discount है. I said, now since I am not downloaded, I have 100% discount, right? There is nothing I need to buy.
Because more often than not, you will buy the things that you don't need.
And that's the way you need to look at.
Absolutely. Mr. Rao, penultimate question, talking about SIPs, even in SIPs, why do you need to diversify?
It is like, I have a different goals. I can't put everything into one. As I said, SIP, I have a savings goal, which I put it in my liquid fund. I goal investment, partly going to the hybrid funds and partly to the equity. My philanthropy also, I'm investing in index funds.
So you hedge your risk.
I hedge my risk, and which is handy. Philanthropy, incidentally, my philanthropy SIP has given the highest return than my investment return. I was telling someone, God is kind enough, beta tu 10 रुपए दे दे, मैं और एक 10 रुपए देने वाला हूँ, market is doing good. That's the way, I think diversification which helps. And each goal, and you also have a clarity. Like, for example, I don't need to break, you say people will have, nowadays there is a fad that I want to have every 2 years an international holiday. Then what I can do is I can just go and break that SIP. I don't need to touch my other one.
Right.
And when I'm investing for my child education, it is more than the investment, it is my emotion. Then, I don't touch that goal anytime. And retirement, which is much distant future, but that future I don't need to look at now, and my SIP keep working for me. Means certain things can work in the back end that can create a lot of wealth for you over a period of time. That is the reason multiple goals, multiple SIP, and एक ही नारा हम कहते हैं, हर घर SIP, घर घर mutual fund.
And there's this new conversation on FIRE, which is financially independent and retire early. That has also taken off like anything, right? So people would like to ride that bus, and there are multiple ways of doing it as well. But that's for another conversation. Very quickly, the don'ts, the strict don'ts as an investor. What should you not do when you're investing? Mr. Rao.
Probably I can say trading and investment is different. I keep telling the young generation, when you said Gen Z, who are into F&O, most of them. And, I keep telling these boys and girls, F&O, if you have started, it is a trading platform, not an investment platform. If you treat that as an investment platform, there is neither a future nor an option for you. Don't get into the F&O. That is the first one I can tell them.
Wonderful. Shabal.
So one is that you need to stay invested. The fallacy is that we think that we'll take out the money and then reinvest at a lower level, etc., etc. Long-term money can only be made when you stay invested long-term. And there is no pattern of returns. 2 years equity, 1 year gold, 2 years debt, 1 year equity. There's no pattern. So stay invested for the long term, specific to your goals, and you will be good to go. So that's something I think you should remember.
Rajesh.
I think it's all the same, you know. I think, one of the fear of investor is missing out. And the don't is that once you invest, stop this fear that you're not doing enough. Don't churn the portfolio. Do not review too frequently, is my answer.
ज़्यादा मत देखो.
ज़्यादा मत देखो. एक SIP कर लिया. And my favorite answer to my customers is that, कि investors are like Gajni, the movie Gajni, Amir Khan, short-term memory loss. They come to me that, Brijesh, I want to start SIP for 20 years. And after 6 months, if the return is minus 1%, they will say, oh my God, this decision was wrong. Let me stop it. And I said, you wanted 10%, 12% for 20 years. What happened in 6 months? So वो रहने दो, वो बात की बात है. मतलब so investors गजनी हो जाते हैं कि वो सोचते लंबा है लेकिन एक्शन बहुत जल्दी जल्दी लेते हैं. So if you stop, this is the don't for me. कि once you decide about a goal, continue, review less frequently.
Come what may, stick to it. Stick to it.
Review less frequently. There's nothing missing out. Up to 15 years, there's nothing missing out.
Bharat.
So there's a buzzword, DIY. So I would say don't do it yourself. Get yourself a financial planner.
How important is a financial planner?
So financial planner is like a brake in a car. So you would ask me, what does a brake do in a car? The common answer is it helps you go slow. I mean, it helps you to not go fast. But the reality is, it's the brake that enables you to go fast. Because you have the confidence that there's a brake in the car, that you can go at 100 and you can stop at will.
Brilliantly put.
So that's the role of a financial planner. The financial planner enables you to reach your goals and your destination faster.
Shehwal, you wanted to add?
So financial planners, knowledge can be picked up from everywhere, but financial planners' role is to manage your emotions. That's where you go wrong. You panic because Trump is coming, so I do this. Otherwise, the financial planning can hold you back. He can say, okay, wait. So you can't talk to a mirror. You need to talk to somebody in flesh.
It's more like your conscience, right?
Yeah, it's your, we used to, in Jatra, Natak.
Vivek.
Vivek, yeah, absolutely, Vivek. Because he is your conscience, he is going to prick you whenever you're going the other way. So his job in your life cycle journey is to guide your emotions.
So you need to have that Vivek, that conscience, holding you and telling you, don't.
Absolutely.
Karoge to maroge.
Absolutely.
All right. Mr. Rao, would you like to add something more to this conversation?
When you said Vivek and when you said with that happiness, I was just looking at, I'm in the town of Vivek Ananda. That Vivek can give you Ananda, everyone can become Vivek Ananda then.
Wonderful. Had there been a Padma Shri on smart quips like these, you would have got it for sure. All right, on that note, I'm going to take your questions. Hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you still have a question, you can write them on the cue card. We are not taking your questions on a microphone. We are going to take your questions only on a cue card, right? So if you have a question, put them in the cue card, and as much as possible, we're going to answer these questions. All right, so the first thing is, it's to make you rich. Which scheme of Aditya Birla will give me return of 25% after 5 to 6 years? Very difficult question to answer.
No, one, we are not here to promote any of the schemes. Second, none of us knew which scheme can give in the future.
Yes.
I mean, we always have mutual funds. It's a past performance is not guaranteed for the future. And this is an education forum. We are not supposed to talk anything
We are not talking
else.
about it, yes. Okay, what is meant by an AMC? What is the best AMC in India? Same question. We don't have an answer for this.
It is like a AMC, I can answer, asset management company. All the AMCs will follow the regulations directed by SEBI. I can't say this is the best, this is the one. Everyone follows the same guidelines. This is a small AMC, this is a big AMC. But today's small could
And
be
all of them are
bigger.
good in their own right?
All of them. Everyone, I think.
All of them have their own way.
Yeah, it's like, in India, we are blessed to have, I call this as a 3Ps. One, we are a progressive economy, and we have a pragmatic regulator, and that's really working for us. And everyone in the mutual funds industry, that regulator is so tough. I think we can't, we have to abide by it. It's a progressive government, promising economy and proactive regulator.
I want to add on this. There's nothing called best. For example, the doctor who treats you, your family doctor is not the best in the world. Do you agree? But you still get treated by him because he's the best for you.
Fabulous answer.
Yeah. So you get comfort with that. So choose an AMC, you are comfortable. The brand name, the service, the aspect, the experience, and that is the best for you.
All right, so I wouldn't take this question, but I'll go to the next one. Which passive strategy works better in longer term, index funds or factor-based passive fund? Which works better?
No, there's nothing that works better. It's again, as Brijesh said, that it will be suitable for you. Factor-based index fund is a type of index fund where you add a couple of factors like momentum or volatility, etc. But it is nothing like this that which will work better can be identified sitting here. That time will tell. But the point is there are two indexes. One index is a pure vanilla index with a link to a particular index. The other one has some factors included. So you select within an index, but adding some factors. So it depends on, again, it depends on your Vivek, who is your Vivek at home, who will guide you which one to choose from.
The simple way to put it is be passive in active funds, be active in passive funds.
All right. Now, this is a very interesting question. What happens to my mutual fund or to a mutual fund if the investor dies? Because mutual funds don't have a maturity date, right? They do actually. So that investment amount doesn't go to anybody in the family. So what to do with that? And in this, the rejoinder to that is in mutual fund, which one is better to get more return on SIP, which is daily, weekly, monthly?
I think we have the best of advisors, they can guide
Rajesh,
us. And,
take this up.
So regarding the first question, if you have a nominee, the money goes to the nominee. So there's no maturity date. If the applicant dies, the money goes to the joint applicant first. If there is a joint applicant, then nominee doesn't get the money. Joint applicant gets the money. And if there is no joint applicant, then the money goes to the nominee. If joint applicant is not there or nominee is not there, it is now subject to the legal courts who claims it and he gets it. Regarding the second question, what was that?
How should I invest? Daily, weekly?
There is no conclusive evidence that if you do daily or weekly, you will get more returns. If you do one SIP or one date for 20 years, there is enough evidence that your returns in 10, 15, 20 years will differ by just 0.05%. So if you're getting 15% in a daily SIP, in a monthly SIP, you will get 14.98 or 15.02. This is the difference, which is in paisa, not even in percentage. So there's a lot of discussion around it, but data doesn't support daily, weekly, fortnightly SIP, monthly SIP is good enough.
Sorry.
Probably, SIP is all that making your life simple. Why you want to complicate with so many things? First part, while filing your returns, you need to have so many transactions. Make it minimize first. Second, when he said, rightly put it, nominee is there. But unfortunately or fortunately, I do not have a nominee address. I do not know the death position of the person. And you need to keep yourself nominee informed. And the best way is estate planning or will writing. When Saibalda was talking about, do that estate will writing is much more simpler. Maybe, from now onwards, take a mission. Let 2025 maybe the year of yourself, financial literacy and financial empowerment. Nomination will take, honestly, during pandemic, we have done for thousands of people. It takes little over 1 hour to complete the entire documentation for the will writing. And that gives a lot of clarity. I think, Stephen Covey's one of the habits is in the life to successful, keep the end in mind. When you write your will, you will know what is where you are, where you want to go. That gives you a lot of clarity for you. And that also gives the purpose of your life. Will writing.
That's a document of purpose, right?
Yeah, will writing. That WILL is like before you die, wish I live long, WILL. But when you write will, I live longer, but it will be given to someone.
All right, so here's a question. I'll throw it open to anybody who would like to pick it up. How does the financial market look in the era of Donald Trump? And is the bull market over in India?
No, none of us can predict it. I think he's going to answer. I mean,
Yeah, Bharat.
It's our job to answer that question every day. So I'll take Rao Saab's.
So is Trump going to trump the market?
So I think the answer does not lie in Trump or no Trump. Answer is a very simple math. If an economy is growing at an X% and if there's an inflation of Y%, so X plus Y is the nominal return that you can expect.
yeah.
So if we are talking about returns from investing in India, then if our economy is growing at 7% in a particular period, and if inflation is going to be 5%, then a 12% becomes your base case scenario. Now, if you move this scenario to America, whether it is Trump or no Trump, if American GDP is growing at, let's say, 2% or 3%, and if they have a similar inflation, 5 to 6% becomes the base case scenario for America. And if you want to look at the global market at large, then you look at the global growth rate for the GDP. If it is 1% or 1.5% for the global GDP growth, and if the global inflation is around 2%, then 3% becomes your base case scenario for somebody who's investing across the globe. So that's the technical answer. But the easier answer is the markets have responded favorably to Mr. Trump's election. So looks like that he's going to make you richer.
So you see, this conference we are doing for long-term investing, whether Trump will, because of Trump, market will go up or down should not be a question at all. I understand this is a thought process and somebody is asking this question, respected. But so as a financial advisor, as a mutual fund distributor, if you are betting on predictions, I will not bet on you. Because predictions don't work. Because predictions keep on changing, and how many times you will change the portfolio based on the predictions. India-Pakistan match, every ball the prediction is changing. So if you took a bet on the last ball, next ball again you are going to change it? No, you don't. So you have to stick to what you believe in terms of long-term investing. In 3 years or 5 years, whether Trump is there or not, and I fully agree with Bharat, it is dependent upon the growth rate of the country. And these decisions will not impact the portfolio. For example, investors look at their portfolio frequently. We don't look our portfolio that frequently. That's the answer.
And also the economic reality of India is very different from the US, right? So these are two different tracks altogether. So don't look at Trump, look at India.
Yeah, I think it's a well answered by both of them. I mean, when that's where Benjamin Graham, when he said markets in the short term like a voting machine, in the long run is a weighing machine. That weighing machine is nothing but economy, how it is growing, what is an inflation, what is the growth rate. Then he put it very rightly. If I am investing in India. If India is growing at 7%, 5% inflation, 12%, तो 12% के लिए outperformance 2%, 14%. That is a reasonable ask I can have for my investment.
All right, so should the common man invest in stocks directly or go through equity mutual fund?
Common man, mutual funds, mutual funds, mutual funds.
I want to answer
mutual
this question.
Mutual funds sahi hai.
I want to answer this question because I have answered this 100 times. And let us say you are the owner of Mumbai Indian teams. You are the Ambani for a moment. And Rohit Sharma is the captain of the Mumbai Indian team. And you have picked up Rohit Sharma as your team. But you have the money and you are the owner of the team. And you say that I will bat today, Rohit Sharma will rest today. Will you do that? Will you bat and keep Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, on the bench? No, you want experts to bat because in one match, you may score and win the match. But for 20 matches, 30 matches, you playing and Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma sitting on the bench will not win matches for you. So as an investor, you think you know how to pick a stock, but how will you beat the fund managers, the Birla or the SDFCs or the ICICI, whatever? They are experts for last 25 years. They will make less mistakes than you. Let us agree on that. They are better batsmen than you. But as a gut feel, you want that, no, I want to do it. My next answer is that I don't know how to make pav bhaji. But all the ladies here probably know how to make it. I call somebody and say, how to make pav bhaji, my guests are coming. You tell me the recipe, can I make it? The answer is no. Maybe I have the perfect blend that day, but next day, I will mess it up. So don't do it directly. It is just impossible.
Final question. I'm 75 years old. Can I start now?
Absolutely. I think, I pray in India, we bless the people, Shatamanam Bhavati. We need to live for 100 years. Means another 25 years to go. 25 years can be a long-term wealth. Second, this, your generation, second generation, third generation. I have seen, I went to many families. I work with a lot of HNIs, super HNIs. I have seen grandparents giving quite a good amount of money to the grandchildren for the next generation, right? If that is the case and you have enough money and you have enough time, you have enough, presume that you have enough time, how you can pass on the wealth is the most important part. You can definitely start investing. I mean, I keep telling, I do this corporate program called My First Paycheck with a lot of new people who are coming for induction. I start my session saying that life is good. That life is good. Life, LIFE, is living in financial empowerment. Good is when you have a goal, O is optimally invested and O is optimized risk, D is diversified. But when I do the same session for my, I do it Aditya Birla Group. This is for the to be retirees. For them, I call life is great. That LIFE is living in freedom and inquiry. The great is GREAT. Your growing corpus for after retirement. R is your regular income. E is your estate planning. A is your asset allocation. T is your tax efficient portfolio. Then all that you have that at the whatever age you talk good to great.
And I would contest this. Why are you even calling yourself 75 years old? You're 75 years young. Lot to
That's the
come
best
in
way
life.
to put it.
Lot to come in life. Final question. This has come in last. What is the best age to invest for retirement?
I say it's like, when we do this program called My First Paycheck, the day you started getting your check, that is the time to start investing for the retirement. If you have not started, there is a Chinese proverb, the best way to plant the tree is 20 years back, if not now. I think earlier Bharat Bhai was talking about it is for the today to start. And the early you start, you are more comfortable, but I'll give it to the financial planners. They are the experts.
Shehbaz.
No, it's, I think, from day one. So compounding is such an important factor. 2 becomes 4, as Brijesh was saying. 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16. Still doesn't look big. Then it starts building to 32, 32 to 64, 64 to 128, 128 to 256. Now it's looking bigger. So if your time ends by that time, for example, 2 to become 4 takes 5 years, 6 years, and your time ends, then you will only get to 2 to 4 and 4 to 8 and 8 to 16, period. So what I'm trying to say is that if you give that much of length of time, then you will be able to grow that much amount of wealth for your retirement.
So in a sense, what I understand from this entire conversation is give it time.
Yeah.
Just like you seed something and then it becomes a tree, wait for the tree to be there rather than cutting the branches and
Yeah, so you won't have a banyan tree if you plant it today and you don't have it in 3 years' time, that you will have a
Give it time.
full-grown
Be
banyan.
patient.
Yeah, and then it will give you shade.
Yeah.
Then it will give you shade.
We did some calculation, and since I can see the age bracket here, most of you will have kids, young kids maybe. We did a calculation, and when a young chap comes to us, we tell him, if you invest your salary income or whatever income you are deriving for the first 3 to 5 years of your life, you start a job at 22, 23. Don't spend on iPhones. Don't buy expensive gadgets. Don't go on an expensive holiday. For first 5 years, if you save 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakh rupees every year, whatever salary, so I give them 2 choices. First 5 years, you give me 100%, 80% of your savings. And then for the next 35 years, you don't have to save a single penny. Or you leave the first 5 years and you start after 5-7 years, then you have to invest for the rest 35 years of your life. Which one you will choose? So that way I answered the question.
Fantastic. But the bottom line still remains that it's morning when you wake up, jab jago, tab savera. So you're not late into it, you still have a chance. Give it a good shot. A disciplined approach to investing is what you should look at. Be patient and be consistent with your investing. On that note, gentlemen, thank you very much for being with me. It was a pleasure talking to you and so much of learning. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with me.